Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to do this a little different, and I'm just going to jump into this. No videos, no music, no anything, just me talking. So, if you're part of the 15 that are up here right now, if you could, please just go on and let me know if you hear me okay down below. I will explain why I have no headset on as you're doing so. Um, Let me say this though, okay? Today has been intense. I've been sick for the past couple of days, and I've also been throwing together a lot of stuff for you guys. And in the process, the devil has been trying to stop me from presenting this in multiple ways through YouTube and also in general through what you saw this morning. Okay, awesome. Bridget says she can hear me great. Okay, awesome. So I can go on forward. Um, right before this video, as I posted it, that I was going to go live, my headsets that I've been using for a very long time stopped working, and now I can't even have my regular microphone and hear the audio and stuff like that. That happened right now as well. So you're just going to have to deal with me speaking this way right now, and we're going to have to jump into this pretty quickly. Before I do, um, let me say this, all right? Somebody says it's a little choppy on their end. I'm very sorry. I'm really trying, okay? Um, this morning, what we did is we jumped straight into this movie that was kind of, I guess, a prequel to Star Wars. All right, it was a movie that I was going to present kind of a build up to the Star Wars part of this whole decode, but it was actually very important. Okay, the sounds distant. Okay. I'm very sorry. It's really sucks. Okay, I'm using what I got. Okay. So anyway, this morning we jumped into End of Days, and End of Days is about Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is known as Mr. Kane in this movie. Jericho Kane is his name. All right. And Jericho Kane, we'll call him Mr. Kane. All right. He is tempted by the devil a couple of times. I presented that footage to you this morning. If you care to watch that, watch part one of this, which is called Darth Trump as well. He's supposed to be possessed by the devil, but he has to be allowed to let the devil in him. Okay. So he tempts him with different things. The first thing he does is he, okay, I got to be careful with how I say everything. Okay. The first thing that he does is he gets tempted by the devil to get his wife and his child that he had lost a long time ago back into his life again. Okay. He puts him through this temptation process where he shows him his wife and kid in the last moments of their life, and it shows him in the room, and he's like, I could stop this for you. I could stop their death from happening. And then next thing you know, they still end up dying, and he ends up not going through with the deal. So the devil tries hard and hard and hard in the background to work through Arnold Schwarzenegger slash Mr. Kane in this movie. Well, in the end, ultimately, Mr. Kane, Arnold Schwarzenegger, has the devil himself enter him. Okay, and the whole reason why he had to enter him is so that Kane, Arnold Schwarzenegger Kane, would rape Maria, who was playing as Christine slash Christ, the female in this movie, who was supposed to rape her so that she could bring forth a child. Okay. Fortunately enough, in the end, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he ends up jumping on a blade, a sword, to stab himself so that he rids himself of the spirit of the devil. Okay. But in doing so, he sacrificed himself for mankind, and the spirit of the devil leaves him. Okay. And descends down to the pits of hell. And in Arnold Schwarzenegger slash Mr. Kane's final moments, he sees his wife from old, and he sees his daughter from old that had died, and he's kind of welcome. It's kind of like a bringing into heaven type thing, like a redemption type thing that happened at the end. Okay. Sorry, the audio is horrible. I'm really sorry. Um, now I really need y'all to hear this video. So I'm gonna have to just do it the best I can. Let me speed up here. This is so hard today. Okay. So there's that. If that interests you at all, watch that, because we're going to go in and jump into the next part right now and why that ties into Star Wars. Okay. All right. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the chosen one in that movie. He was chosen by the devil, okay, to bring balance to the world, to bring in Armageddon so that it would be a great chaos in the world, to bring in the peace ultimately in the world that follows Armageddon. just like in the Bible. Armageddon must happen so that the new world is created, okay? That's why you shouldn't stop those things, just like we talked about this morning, just like Peter tried to do. He was like trying to stop Christ from the death and resurrection. And Christ said to Peter, he said, "Get behind me, Satan. You know, I must fulfill these things that my Father's put in his life. He has to do those things." All right? So, here we go. And I bring that up because of this. Judas was one of the 12 disciples, okay? If Satan didn't enter Judas, there would be no crucifixion. If Satan didn't enter Judas, Yeshua Pharisees, okay? Now, that's a lot to swallow, right? Well, it is the will of the Father. You know, if you paid attention to Isaiah, it says this word for word. The Father creates all things. The Father God himself, the Most High God, okay? The Most High. He's called Most High because, you know, in the commandments, you're told to have no other gods because there's more Elohim in the world. Before him, he's the Most High God, okay? And then it points out in the New Testament and the Old Testament, but I want to point out the New Testament, the whole reason why Christ was called a blasphemer is because they thought that he was claiming to be God the Father, just like most people still today claim that he claimed to be. And he never did that. That's why he says this to the Pharisees. He says, "Is it not written that ye are gods, that ye are given authority," okay, as to judge for God the Father on earth? You're given authority as sons of God. It says, "Is it not written that ye are gods?" And it's written in the Old Testament and New Testament. How do you become a God? You become a son of God. That's why he tells us that because Christ became a high priest, a king, okay? He said, because he did so, and he was resurrected by the Father, he will also resurrect us, and he will make us a kingdom of priests and kings with crowns, okay? You need to understand all of that. The Most High himself, he brings forth light and he brings forth darkness. How does he do that, Dustin? Well, he does it the way his word says, okay? He has a right hand, and his right hand, sitting at his right hand on the mercy seat, okay? Not the accuser seat. It's like a courthouse, okay? You got the Most High God, the judge, sitting in the center. But on the one side, you got the accuser, and on the other side, you got the one being accused, okay? Now, Christ stands for us on the right hand, on the mercy seat, okay, pleading with the Father on our behalf. He covers us, okay? That's why you must know him and be born again in the Most High's family to be identified with Christ on the Most High's side, okay? Well, if you're not on that side, you're on the left-hand side. You're a leftist. It is what it is. And when you're a left-hand side, it's as the Pharisees said. It says, we're descendants of Abraham. But Christ said, you know, they can turn these stones into descendants of Abraham. That doesn't matter. You must be born again of water and spirit, born again in my blood, okay? You have to be born again because there was a separation of sin that caused you to be born of the devil, just like Cain, the first adversary in the world who was born of the devil. Okay? Now, all right, so there's all that. The next thing I want to point out is this. Satan, his left hand is what brings forth wrath and darkness and chaos in the world, okay? Just like in Job's life. Without Satan going to tempt Job, there would be no temptation and pressure and anything to refine Job, okay, as needed, okay? So that's why it also says in the end, just as the Father handed the scroll to the Son Yeshua, the Lamb, at the right hand, okay? He handed him the scroll and sent him out. Brandon, please turn that down. He handed him the scroll and sent him out, handed him all authority, okay? Well, that's why Yeshua says that in the end, he will hand who? He will give them the morning star. And that's why it says in the end, authority and power is given to Satan, the beast, and the 10 kings for a short time, just as Christ was given all authority, okay? Well, here we go again. You have Satan given all authority. That means it was handed like a baton over and over, okay? That's why Yeshua said himself, you know, the God of this world right now is Satan. He is your God of this world. That's what he was saying to those people, okay? And that's where this whole thing goes, okay? You need to understand there's a light side and a dark side in this world, and one can't exist without the other, okay? That's why free will is a thing, because there is a right and a left hand, okay? And he brings forth everything through his Son, all right? Yeshua is a bright morning star, is what Revelation, the final chapter, tells you. He says this. He says, John, don't worship me. I am a messenger. I am a servant, just like you now, because he identifies as being in Christ as well. He says, I'm a servant, a messenger, an angel, just like you. I am the bright morning star, is what he says to him. Okay? He says, you worship God. And he also tells, when Thomas and all of them are clinging to him, and Thomas said what he said to Thomas and all of them are clinging to him, he says this. He says, look, don't touch me. I have not ascended yet to my Father and your Father and my God and your God. They still don't understand. Okay? It went over their head so much. And that's why the confession was so important, because, Yeshua had to let Peter know. He said, Peter, you didn't come to this conclusion on your own, and flesh and blood didn't reveal this to you. Everything from flesh and blood went right over your head. He said, my Father had to show you these things. My Father revealed this to you. When? Well, during the transfiguration, when he said, this is my son, Peter, listen to him. When this is my son, listen. You're not listening. He pretty much said this. If you speak Aramaic, you would know that Simon means to hear, to listen. Okay? Well, Simon wasn't Simoning. That's why it says Simon says, you got to listen. You got to pay attention, Simon. Well, if Simon don't listen, it becomes a hard, calloused rock. Okay? In which he says, you planted on soil that is fertile or hard, callous things. Okay? Now, that's why when he got to the bottom, he said, look, I didn't reveal this to you. My Father had to reveal this to you. And Christ said this also, I am the cornerstone that the Pharisees rejected. Okay? Christ is our cornerstone, our firm foundation. Peter is the rock in which Christ built his church on the gates of hell. That's why he says Peter, which the Pope has the keys. He says, what you bind and loose on earth. All right? Now, all of that stuff you indeed, Ryan, will never hear in a Sunday worship church, because once again, just as the 66 tells you, it says the number of the beast is 666. Well, the beast system, we know, indeed, the beast system is the Roman Catholic Church, where the false prophet speaks blasphemy out of there, okay? But then you have Apollyon, a whole separate character, the final Antichrist of Babylon the Great, completely separate character, okay? Well, you need to know, all right, the beast system, Constantine the Great, who made himself the greatest as well. Christ had a thing about telling people about becoming the greatest. James and John were like, how do we become the greatest? I want to sit on your right and left-hand side. Yeshua said, you don't know what you ask. And then they wanted to call down fire on the Gentiles. And he says, you don't know what spirit you speak of. And he changes their names. Their names, just like Simon, who wasn't listening, he changes their names to sons of Barabbas, which means sons of thunder, which during that time in Greek would be Zeus. Sons of Zeus, sitting at the right hand and the left hand of Zeus, if you want to be specific there. James and John the greatest. Okay, that's why you have a James and John the lesser, and a John who humbled himself as a servant. Okay, all that stuff is important to put in context, but they must exist in this world. That's why we can't stop them from doing what they're doing. That's why when Donald Trump puts your head underneath the guillotine, you're not to stop what he's doing. You're to just go. It's the will of the Father. Okay, do not stop the will of the Father, because these things must come to pass. Take courage. You picked up a cross to follow him, not a pillow and a blanket and a pacifier. Okay? All right. Now, I bring all that up because of this. Everything must happen. There had to be an Israel and an Ishmael, because without Israel, there would be no enmity between the two seed lines of Ishmael and Israel. Ishmael was who? Ishmael and Hagar is Ishmael and Ishtar, and who? Bel. Ishtar and Bel and Ra. Okay? That is indeed the synagogue of Satan that was started. That was blessed ultimately by God the Father. God the Father blessed both seed lines again. He sent Ra to be there over Cain. You need to be specific. You need to understand that. Ra was there for Osiris his whole life / Cain, okay, as his daddy of dark side. Just as God the Father was there for who? Christ his whole life. All right? Satan mimics everything the Most High does. Everything the Most High does, he mimics, all of it. The Father sent his son Yeshua as the Christ. Well, Satan sent his son Cain, Osiris, as the Antichrist into the world. Those things must exist. That's why God the Father blessed also, Sarah and Abraham, but he also blessed the other seed line as well. Ishmael was blessed. Cain was blessed ultimately. He was blessed as a king. Nimrod was blessed as a king. Nebuchadnezzar was blessed as a king. Nero was blessed as a king. He was blessed. He had a lot of money. Okay? All those things have to be existent in this world. And that's why he told Peter, get behind me, Satan. These things must exist. These things must happen. Don't try to stop me. That's why you must take courage. Hard to have courage in the world like today, but you must. Okay? Now, because of all that, I want to move on forward. All right? And I'm very sorry if this video is choppy and all those things, but I'm going to move on forward to this, and I'm just going to skim through what we went through this morning without the video, okay? Just so people can look at that on this presentation. Let me get my screen share going, okay? Blank. All right. So the first thing we presented this morning in our first video was End of Days. If you want, I know I had a few people curious about what the name of that movie was and all of that stuff. Well, that was End of Days, okay, by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And as far as characters, Jericho Kane, Dr. Abel, and the guy that Satan first enters is James, all right? Which is why the first one you need to know that was killed at the head of the church, made himself the head of the church, literally, was James the Great. He made himself head of the first church of Spain. That's crazy. You can't make this stuff up. It's wild to me, okay? The first one that he enters is James, according to this movie. This is a guy named James. Gabriel James Burns is the guy's name, okay, that plays the first Satan character. But it goes from James to the ultimate chosen one, okay, Arnold. Arnold is the chosen one, okay, in this movie for the devil. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to enter you next. I have to enter you in order to make this happen. Because he knows he's ultimately in love with Maria/Mary, one of the other main characters, okay, who plays Christine/Christ, the one that has to be that the Pope tries to sacrifice to stop the apocalypse. All right. But we're not going to jump into this video and stuff. This is one I've already touched on a whole lot this morning. So all of this that we've touched on this morning, go back and watch. It's crazy, the stuff I pulled from this video. Okay? But I bring this movie up because of this. Now we're moving forward. This is crazy. Okay? Before I do this, let's look at what the scriptures have to say. All right? Let's look here at Revelation chapter chapter 12, one of my favorites, okay? This is the woman and the dragon, all right? In this Revelation chapter 12, you have a breakdown of before Christ, during Christ, after Christ, 1,000-year reign period, and Satan being set loose for a short period, all in one chapter. Revelation chapter 12 actually mirrors Revelation chapter 20, if you want to be specific, okay? You can take a look at it side by side, how it goes through things. Okay, there's this time before Christ. There's this time of comfort and peace for a time, and half a time. There's a whole space period that goes in there, and there's a Satan being set loose at the end for a short season, starting a war against the saints that remain on the earth. All right, here we go. Revelation 12. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon was under her feet. And upon her head was a crown of 12 stars, and she was with child, and cried, travailing with birth. Pause. We know who this is. Whether you want it, look, don't look at this. The Catholic Church has made it where you worship every single disciple, and they make it where you worship even Yeshua and Mary. You put them over God the Father Most High, and they got you calling the Pope Father and the High Priest Father. Okay, that Yeshua himself said, don't ever do that. Okay, you only worship God. There is only one God and only one begotten Son, bright morning sun. Okay, now, okay, whether you want to admit it or not, this woman that gives birth to the child that's given 12 disciples as her children, okay, that is identified during the time of Christ. Christ is in a room full of Pharisees and people, and they're like, who are those people outside? And Yeshua's like, hey, look, this is my mother, and these are my brothers, okay? Identified them all as being his family, and he identified Mary as being his mother, okay? Now, that mother is indeed Mary here, okay? And she's not to be worshipped. She's not some in-between mediator, okay? She is what she is. There appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and a moon was under her feet, and upon her head was a crown of 12 stars. And she was with child, and cried, travailing in birth, and was pained. Remember who was told that she was going to have birth pains and have to travail forth with birth pains? Eve, the mother of all living. Okay? And travailing in birth. And it was told in the beginning that Eve would be redeemed if she stayed righteous through childbirth. Word for word in your Bible, okay? And there appeared another wonder in heaven. For behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, 10 kingdoms, okay? And 7 crowns upon his heads. And those horns are towers of Babel, okay? Horns. It is simple when you put it this way. And his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven and cast them down to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered to devour her child. Now, what is this talking about? Well, this is when Christ was coming into the world. Don't you remember King Herod? He was the one that Satan entered, okay? King Herod was Osiris risen, the one that was the Antichrist during the childbirth even. Because the Antichrist had been all throughout the world. Nimrod was the first Antichrist post-flood, if you want to be specific, okay? Well, King Herod, he was a demon during that time, you need to know. And during that time, he was the one that was trying to kill all the children. That's why Mary and Joseph and Yeshua, they had to go off into Egypt for a 2-year period of exile, okay? Trying to hide from Herod, who's killing all the children, trying to stop the prophecy from fulfilling. But then he dies and he's overtaken with worms, and you have Yeshua, Mary, and Joseph come back to Nazareth, where ultimately then you have your wise men and stuff. See, all this stuff isn't included in your Christmas programs and stuff like that at all. And it's so sad. You know, they don't bring this stuff in your church programs or the movies or anything like that, but it's in there. That's what happened. It's the same thing that happened during the birth of who? Well, there's a reason why Moses was there during the Transfiguration. During the birth of Moses, what was happening? Well, Pharaoh, the demon, the Antichrist during that time, he was killing all the children. All the boys were getting killed. Why? Well, he was trying to stop a prophecy that was to be fulfilled, okay? That's enmity between the seed line, that there would be a child that would be born that would be there for the flock, separating the tares and the wheats, okay? So what happens is, during Moses' life, he's protected in an ark, okay? All the other children are killed, but he's protected, and he comes into the scene, okay? Right after Pharaoh dies. That's why you have that whole movie of the Prince of Egypt. Well, Pharaoh dies, and he passes the torch on to his son, who ultimately comes into power while Moses is in exile for 40 years. Okay, well, guess what? You have the same thing talked about in Abraham, during Abraham's birth, okay? Abraham had to be birthed and actually hid. Why? Because of the same thing. Nimrod, during that time, okay, was killing all the children because he found out about this enmity, okay? And it turned out that he had to stop was Esau. Esau was the one that killed Nimrod. He thought it was going to be Abraham. He even threw Abraham in a fire, okay? This is in the book of Jasher. And yet he survived 3 days and brought the people out of Ur of Chaldeans. And that's how you have the righteousness that he was in your Bibles, that was taken out of the Bibles, okay? Same thing over and over again. Nothing new underneath the sun. Just like Noah. Noah and his family. The whole world was purged, but he was kept the same, okay? It goes on and on and on. Now, we have the same story. Well, here's this one, okay? The woman gives birth to the child. And it tells, and wait. Okay, so here she goes. She brought forth Yeshua, okay? So she brought forth a man-child, which should rule all nations with a rod and iron, and that her child was taken up to God, to his throne. Now notice, it didn't say he was taken up to his throne as God. It says he was taken up to his throne, the mercy seat, in which he was given all power and authority from his Father, okay? He was taken up to God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness where she hath a place. So look, after Christ was taken up and given all power, all authority as King of Kings, ruling with an iron in heaven and on earth, being why he said, I have all power and authority. And his reign started when he said he was king. Okay? And that's why it's actually prophesied for more than 1,000 years. There's only 1,000 years of peace. But there's a 260-year period of a time in which he offers to the Gentiles to repent first. Okay? When? Well, after he destroys Jerusalem. He says first punishment must start at the house of God. This way, have Jerusalem get destroyed first, and then a 260-year period of the time of the Gentiles before they are destroyed again too. This is why you have the same thing in the world today. You have the Holocaust, in which you have the Jews persecuted first, and then you have the Gentiles that are about to be persecuted the same. How? Well, the Jews had the mark on their wrist or either the vril in the forehead, okay? Now we have the same thing happening over in Babylon. You have Hollywood and their elites with their one-eye vril in their forehead, and you're about to have freedom cities in which you get a mark on your wrist or you get put out at the gate, okay, for refusing to take the mark on your wrist, okay? And you also have the worship of the beast that's taking place as well. All right? All right. Here we go. So, I see Val down there. Look, me and my wife, we are one also. Just like Adam and Eve, they were one also, but they weren't Eve. And I'm not Amy, okay? I'm Dustin, she's Amy, but we are one. We're on the same accord. That's why Yeshua don't know the day or the hour in which any of this stuff is going to be fulfilled. He said only his Father does. He says his Father is greater than him, okay? It's important to not combine them as the Vatican did when the Trinity was created at the same time as the Sunday worship in the 66th day of the year in 321 AD, and also a steeple, an obelisk, was erected on the first ever Sunday worship temple in 321 AD by Constantine the Great. Also, that stuff is very important. John 5:7, just like the 10:7, are the same thing. Okay, one of them you have that was added in the 1600s, but I'm not going to get into that now. All that stuff has been covered in depth. Okay. You need to know the Trinity, okay, as far as combining the Father and Son and Holy Spirit as the same. That was created by the Constantine so they can make the Pope and these preachers make them the mediator that Yeshua died to be. It makes them have a temple in which you are supposed to be. Okay, all for control and controlling the church. So let's move on forward here. All right. So now we have this. All right. And like I say, the word is a line right here. She brought forth a man-child, which should rule all nations with the rod and iron in her, and that her child was taken up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. All right. So you have this time here, which is talking about a day period. You have Daniel, where it talks about a year period, 1,260 years. Well, 1,260 days is 3.5 years. If you want to be specific, it's 3.45 years. Okay. I think I have that pulled up for you here. Yes. Okay. 3.45 years is 1,260 days. Okay. But we know that, and this was even pointed out by Yeshua, you have this whole thing where Daniel points out 1,260 years. You have Revelation in the beginning parts where it talks about this 1,260 days. But then at the bottom of Revelation chapter 12, which we're on right now, you have a time, and half a time, which is pointed out as 500, 500, and 260 or 250. Okay. All of that stuff is so important because of this. It all points out the timeline. Watch this. All right. Here we go. And the woman fled after Yeshua was taken up, and he was sitting on his throne, given all power and authority from his Father. The Father didn't hand all power and authority to himself, and Stephen didn't see the Father sitting next to the Father. Okay, he sees the Son sitting at the right hand of the Father. Okay, all of that stuff. The Bible is not a liar, and it points out those things word for word. All right, and the woman. All right, and there was a battle. In heaven, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. But they prevailed not, neither was there a place found any more in heaven. So remember, as he told Peter, whatever's bound in heaven is bound on earth. Satan was bound for 1,000 years. So he was bound in the heavens and he was bound on earth. Okay. That's why in Isaiah, he was able to approach the throne of God, but it's also causing temptation and stuff on the earth. That's why he also told him, I've been roaming to and fro and up and down in the earth. All right. Now, here we go. And the great dragon, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, was cast out, which deceiveth all the world. So he was set loose in the heavens. This is why you have him set loose on the earth. And he was even. That's why it says he was cast out in the heavens, and he was even cast into the earth. And his angels were cast out with him. Okay. When was this? This was after the 1,260 score period. Okay. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, Now is salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ. Now realize it says the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. Okay? Two different separations as always. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. But they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives even unto death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Who are those? Well, that's the 144,000 that are gathered up in the third heaven. Okay? That all took place when? We've already discussed that in all these decodes. That 1,000-year reign period. After that time of the Gentiles, when Rome is finally destroyed, you have the time of peace, the 1,000 years of peace, all right? You already have the 24 elders of old called up with them when Christ died. When he died on the cross, there was thunderings, lightnings, earthquakes. Many saints exited their tomb and entered into that holy city, appearing unto many. I believe that was the 24 elders who came with them on the clouds to bring judgment. To what? To mark the 144,000, so that way they had a kingdom in the heavens and a kingdom on the earth, like he says, reigning at the same time. That whole thing happened in a 1,000-year reign period. Okay, now, here's this. All right. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. But remember, there's also a remnant. It says this in Revelation 20. Some will be given life during the 1,000-year reign, but some will be given life after the 1,000-year reign. That's some afterwards. That's us. We're the remnant that is given life after the 1,000-year reign, so that there's still a remnant, a little seed in the world today. That's us. That only live to be 100. That's us. We're the ones that live after the 1,000-year reign, during the short season of Satan, during the final battle of Gog and Magog. Okay? The four quarters of the earth. We have the four continents of the earth at war with one another, Gog and Magog. Right now, final battle stirring up, the last and final battle being World War III. Okay? All right. Here we go. Okay. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth. Okay, so look, you have the 144,000 gathered in the third heavens, but you have people still on the earth below and in the seas. Because remember, death and Hades, all that stuff still existed, even during the 1,000-year reign. Death and Hades and day and night still existed. Satan was abound for 1,000 years, okay? Now, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, which hath great wrath, knowing that his time is for a short time. Okay, this is the short season right now. What's the first thing he does when he's cast out? And when the dragon saw that he was cast onto the earth, he persecuted the woman which had brought forth the man-child. Okay, because she was still on the earth. The only one taken to the third heaven. You need to know from that part was Yeshua. But to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle. All right, this is where America comes in with its 2 great wings. Its Republican Party, its right and left wings. Both are used for glory, okay? Dark and light have to exist. This is where the woman over here on the shores of Babylon the Great that gave birth to the man-child is standing over, that had been comforted and lavished in comfort, okay? And she got really comfortable. That's why at the end it says if they don't repent, he must give them over to the morning star, and Satan must have judgment again on the earth, okay? Because they went into apostasy, okay? The woman and the 2 wings, okay, of the great eagle that were given to her, they turn into apostasy. What does that mean? Well, that's where the word comes in when it talks about them going into perdition, okay? The woman, the beast, and the eagle with the 2 wings, when they go into perdition, they go into destruction. That's why the woman becomes the whore on the shores of Babylon. That's why it talks about the beast in which she's riding on the back, okay? He's back into the picture because he crawled back out for that final season. You need to know these things all fall in right here on Revelation chapter 17, which we're going to read out after we get to this, okay? So no, but to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle. Now, who wanted to be the greatest in the kingdom? Okay, James and John. And you need to know, Yeshua looked down, he said, John, behold your mother, mother, behold your son, to John, all right? And James and John has to be the seated at the right hand to be the greatest in the kingdom. This is why I pulled up as important. In our history, James and John are made the 2 most famous names in the world, okay, as far as Jack meaning James and John, that has been used to build the nation of the United States of America, okay, the land of the feathered serpent, okay? the plumed serpent. There's a difference in the plumed serpent and the red dragon that's over there. There's a behemoth and a leviathan creature, okay? I'm trying to tell you there's a difference between the two, okay? We're the one that's been comforted for a time and half a time over here, and we've been lavished with Hollywood and deception and MAGA magic, okay, over here in America. All right? And we've been nourished for a time and half a time, but we know that must come to an end. And we know at the end, he's going to stir up everybody. He's even going to make the people hate the woman. He's going to make the eagles turn on the woman and the people. All of that has to happen. That's what makes it Mystery Babylon the Great, because it came back. It's made great again. Okay? Mystery Babylon the Great exists at the end of time. You need to understand that. That's what makes it a mystery. It died, it went away, but then it came back. Okay? Just like Satan. He died and went away and was imprisoned, but then he came back. That's what makes it a mystery, okay? So to prove to you that it's not only Satan and a dragon and a woman, I also showed you that it's two wings. This is why you have Peter, James, and John. The two wings of the great eagle are James and John, okay? John being the one that he loved and made himself literally the chosen one, okay? James and John. This is why we have Donald, which means greatest in the world, okay? King of the world, ruler of the world, and Don means Lord and Baal, okay? You have Donald John, the greatest in the kingdom, Trump, the last Trump of Babylon the Great. And we have James Donald, greatest in the kingdom, okay, who's made himself in the likeness of David, changed James Donald, and changed James Donald to James David, in case you didn't know that. Vance, okay, so you have Trump Vance, Trumpets, okay, because the P and the V in Hebrew, you know, well, that's right there in your face. Just like last time, it was Trumpence, okay? Now it's Trumpence, now it's Trumpence, okay? James and John, the greatest kingdom. So you have two wings of a great eagle, James and John, who wanted to be there. And Yeshua was like, hey, you don't know what you're asking. You don't know what spirit you're speaking of, okay? So you have James and John who have gone apostate with the woman, comforting her, okay? And then over here, you got who? You got the false prophet Peter on the Antichrist cross, the first and the last. Well, he did everything for the will of the Father. That's why you can't even get mad at him. He was doing the will of the Father ultimately. He had to exist. And what happened? We have the beast and the eagle with the two wings. And you have the woman who go into perdition. That's why Apollyon the destroyer exists. The Apollyon the perdition is really what that word is. Okay? All right? So they get comforted for a time and half a time. America got lifted up, okay, and made great for a long time, a long period, okay? And it took a lot of persecution and killing and hiding and burying, okay? And then they start turning into apostasy now. Paganism, witchcraft, all the things of old, okay? Everybody's going in perdition. Now we have James and John Donald Vance, okay? And now we have Pietro the Roman, your eminence, which means your greatness, okay? Becoming the next pope of the next beast, all right? And then you have the woman who's holding up Baal, who's holding up the bale of twigs, the fire, who's holding up the light, who's holding up the Lucifer, the woman holding up the child, the lamp, the golden light, the golden lampstand is the Antichrist up there that she's holding up, okay? All right. So here we go. So the first thing Satan does is he casts out a mud flood after the woman. And the serpent casts out his mouth water after the woman like a flood, that he might cause her to be carried away by the flood. This is where you get the mud flood of Tartaria, in which, remember, God said he would never flood the earth again. So this time he causes the earth to swallow it up and cause this great mud flood of all of these cathedrals that you see all over the whole world during that Tartarian kingdom. That's called the Great Reset. This is when they went and massacred all these people and started this whole new world that we're in today. Okay, the new and final world, the mystery world we're in today. Then the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make what? War with the remnant of the seed. Okay, that's us. We're the remnant that are left behind, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yeshua. And I stood upon the sea. All right, so there's that. All right, let's move on forward to this. This is why Revelation 17, this has to be explained to John. Watch this. The woman and the beast. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy. Okay, have you understood what the English language has done now with the world? Okay, and the names that he has slopped around and flipped and flopped all over the place? Put that in perspective too. Okay, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple. Why is she in purple? Because she has 2 wings of a dragon. She has a red wing and a blue wing. And together they cause chaos and confusion. Okay? Purple. The woman is given a Republican. This is pretty awesome. The woman is given a Republican and a Democratic party. Okay? And together they make purple. All right? That's where it comes from. She lifts up Baal. Okay? She lifts up confusion. She lifts up the bundle for one world order. Baal means bundle of twigs. That's why you got Nimrod as the first Baal. He brought it together, one world order. Okay? Okay. Now, here's this. And upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery, Babylon, the Great, because we want to be the greatest. James and John wanted to make themselves the greatest in the kingdom, and they indeed have. Okay? And it's made great again. It's brought back. It's a mystery. It wasn't, but it is. That's the whole point of the beast. It was not, and it is. Why is this marveling you, John? It takes wisdom, is what he's about to tell you down here. Okay, the mother of the harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw a woman drunken with the blood of the saints. This is what I'm saying. This is now. This all happens when? This is after the woman gets comforted. This is after the woman gets drunk off the blood of the saints, the camp of saints that everybody's turned on, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Here we go. What's the mystery? Why are you confused about mystery Babylon the Great? Well, read this. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore did thou marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which has 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. Okay? Hence, this happens after the 1,000-year reign. And go into perdition. Okay? Who does? The beast. And who? The woman. And who? The purple. All of them. The eagle in which comforted her and the many shores. Well, that's us from sea to shining sea, America. Okay? Babylon the Great. Okay. Here we go. And all right, so here's where this is. The beast goes into perdition, okay? Apollyon becomes Apollyon the destroyer. That's John, okay? You need to know that. He becomes the destroyer. They go into perdition. They go into destruction. The beast goes into destruction. The woman goes into destruction and starts drinking the blood of the saints, okay? So the right and left wing, James and John, they go into destruction. Peter, he goes into destruction. Why? To do the will of the Father. They must not stop the will of the Father. They must do the will of the Father. Even if it's bad, it's the will of the Father. He brings forth good and evil. So you have James, John, and Peter going into destruction and the woman going into destruction. And you have the red dragon, King Charles. The red dragon is King Charles behind all of it. Okay? Where is he? There's a separation if you haven't noticed. The red dragon is over there in God. And there was a separation of the Atlantis Ocean between the woman on the shores over here and the red dragon over there, just like it says. We're the plumed serpent. He's the red dragon, the behemoth. All right. Now here we go. And the 10 horns which thou sawest were the 10 kings, which what? Which have not received no kingdom yet. What do you mean? Well, that's the mystery. They're going to come back at the end after the 1,000-year reign. Pay attention, John. All right, which had received no kingdoms as of yet, but received power as kings 1 hour, a short space, a short time with the beast. Why? Well, to overcome the camp of saints. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb. Who? Well, the woman who comes back after the 1,000-year reign, the woman, the beast, and the dragon. Okay? Which means this: the woman with her 2 wings, the beast that she's riding on the back of, and the dragon. Okay? They try to overcome us, the lambs. That's us. This is that great and final wine press we've been talking about. Okay? Now, I want to show you something incredible. All right? Everything I've been pointing out is this John and Mary. Remember, John himself was told, okay, John, this is your mother. Mother, this is your son. Okay? And he talks to Mary. Well, I've been telling you, everything is about a Mary and a John in our past. It's like a Mary giving birth to a John. Okay? Well, do you know that? Watch this, guys. You can't, one sec. You can't make this up, okay? Donald Trump's mother is Mary, okay? So Donald John Trump, his mother is Mary Ann Trump, okay? That's Donald Trump's mother. If you didn't know that, now you know that, okay? That's Donald Trump's mother, Mary Ann Trump. So here you have himself claiming to be the chosen one, claiming to be the Messiah, claiming to be the king of Israel, and he's also got a mother Mary, okay? But not only that, not only does he have a mother Mary, he's got a grandmother. Remember, I've been telling you that it's Jack Sparrow, which means James and John, and Orlando Jonathan Bloom, who fight over Elizabeth, okay? Elizabeth, okay, is his grandma, Elizabeth Christ Trump, okay? Married to Frederick John Trump, okay? So here we go. Donald Trump also is part of the Christ lineage, all right? And his mother is Mary, okay? And Mary Ann, because you got to know it's Mary and Peter also, Mary and Peter Parker, okay? But you have Mary Ann and his grandmother Elizabeth Christ Trump married to Fred John Trump. So you have John and Christ Trump, Elizabeth, and you have his mother. It's crazy. You can't make it up. So that's 2 check marks. Okay, and if you're wondering why we've been talking about Star Wars, this is where the mind-blowing stuff comes in, okay? I can't wait to show you this stuff because it's really going to get nuts now, all right? It's a shame to see that there's only such a small group of you up here today, but I know it's probably because of the audio and stuff, but I'm hoping you guys are hearing this okay. Okay? All right, check this out. You know, I'm not the first one to bring up Donald Trump's connection with Darth Vader, and I'm going to prove that to you. This was back in 2015. Okay, when Darth Vader met Donald Trump, okay, the arch villain from Star Wars franchise meets the most reviled American presidential hopeful in recent memory. Okay, check this out. Here's what I want you to read. The title of the video says it all. Darth Trump. After the American millionaire made a shocking demand to debar Muslims from entering the United States of America, because he hates Gentiles. Remember, him and James, they want to call down fire on the Gentiles, just like they do on now. This is what they always wanted. They wanted to rain down fire on the Gentiles outside of Israel. It was their dream. Now they're going to get their dream come true. But first, they may first bring in the what? It says that as soon as they, and this is in, matter of fact, I want to show you. There's a peace period that must be on the table really quick before destruction. It says as soon as they start talking about peace, destruction follows. Perdition follows. It's coming. Donald Trump's talking about peace right now. Perdition follows. Perdition means you go into the dark side. Perdition means you go into the dark side. You go into destruction. You become a destroyer. Okay? Watch this. Dark means dark. Darth means dark. But watch this. I'm really going to blow your minds here, okay? I want to show you something I came across that's blowing my mind. Okay? I found this video. It's okay. It's funny to watch sometime. Look up Darth Trump. Watch this video that they made of Darth Vader with Donald Trump's voice speaking and doing all this stuff. It's crazy now. And yeah, Donald Trump is wearing his black MAGA now. He was the red horse. Now he's the black horse. Okay? Okay? Now, adorned with gold. MAGA in gold now. Okay? Now, here's this. And people are worshiping after him, longing after him. I want to show you this stuff right here. This was, once again, December 10th of 2015. This was made, Darth Trump Make the Galaxy Great Again, okay, in which there's this parody in which Donald Trump is Darth Vader in this video. I'm not going to show you for copyright and get cut off again, but here's this. Ready? Do you guys remember the show The Apprentice? Well, don't you know what Darth Vader is called? Anybody want to tell me what Darth Vader is called? He's called The Apprentice. Who is he the apprentice of? Palpatine. Palpatine is the dark son, okay? And I'll point that out to you here in a minute, okay? Palpatine is the Satan figure who gives power to Anakin Skywalker to become Darth Vader as his apprentice, okay? Darth Vader is the apprentice of Satan. That's why it's called the Sorcerer's Apprentice, okay? And that's why it's called the Devil's Advocate, all right? Well, here we go. Donald Trump has a show called The Apprentice. I want you to keep that in mind before I jump into this Star Wars stuff, okay? Because it's really going to really blow your minds, I promise. If you watch this through, it'll be worth it. And I usually say that, you know, on some of them, but I mean it this time. Watch this through. It's really going to blow your mind, okay? Well, let's jump into it. I didn't want y'all to see my nerdiness, but it's time. You're about to see a really nerdy Dustin that you've probably never seen before, okay? All right, why am I bringing up Star Wars and why am I bringing up Arnold, okay? You guys ever seen Hey Arnold? In Hey Arnold, you have Donald Trump and Barack Obama, by the way. Okay, Arnold literally means eagle power, okay? Arnold means eagle power, okay? And who's in love with him, okay? Helga. / who? Well, there's Zeus and Hela, okay? Well, Helga is in love with Arnold and Hey Arnold. But Arnold means eagle power. That's why Arnold is scattered all throughout our names in there as well, because Arnold means eagle. He's the eagle given to the woman. Now Terminator should make sense of why they used Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he is the eagle power given to the world as the hero, okay? As the final Apollyon, the hero that brings the disease and the cure, okay? Because remember, Satan ultimately entered Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie. Okay, but here's this. Arnold means eagle power, right? Well, watch this. Guess what else it means? You can't make this up. Arnold also means, how do I zoom with this computer? Look over here, guys. Arnold also means Anakin. Arnold means Anakin. Do you see it down here? Of course you do. Arnold means Anakin also, which means Anakin also means eagle. Okay? Anakin means eagle. I'll show you. You can't make this up. Anakin, eagle. Well, meaning. I'll just put meaning. Warrior, even better. But I wanted to show you the one I pulled up earlier. All right. I have to get it pulled back up. Anyway, I'm not going to get off track. Then there's this, okay? It's Anakin Skywalker, right? The one given power by Palpatine to become what he did. Watch this, okay? You heard about the Anunnaki, right? Do you know where the Anunnaki come from? Anunnaki are the descendants of Satan, okay? The descendants of the fallen one, Anunnakis, okay? Who's the original Anunnakian? Well, that's Anakin Skywalker. Who's Anakin Skywalker? Well, he's the one, the prince and power of the air, Bel, the prince and power of the air, the Skywalker, who is also, as my son Braden pointed out at 9 years old, he was like, man, his name should be Anakin Skinwalker, because that's also what he is. He's a real replicant, putting himself on a new skin. So you have Anakin Skinwalker, the father of the Anunnaki, the dark side, okay? Well, watch this, okay? Anakin Skinwalker here, or should I say Anakin Skywalker. It's time to look into this, because you know, keep in mind, Donald Trump is claimed to be the chosen one boldly as he yells out to the heavens, okay? Well, here's this. Donald Trump don't know what he's chosen for. Just like Anakin Skywalker didn't know what he was chosen for. He thought he was chosen for good. No, he was chosen to bring balance to the world through destruction. And it is what it is. And you need to know that you cannot get mad at Trump even when he takes your life because of this. He's doing the will of the Father. That's why I told Peter, and that's why Yeshua looks down from the cross. He says, look, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. They're just doing your will. Okay. Well, here's this. Do you believe you are the chosen one, Qui-Gon Jinn? Okay, Qui-Gon Jinn says to Anakin Skywalker, how can I know? Anakin Skywalker says back, I can tell you what I believe. I believe you will bring balance to the Force, that you will face your demons and save the universe, the one-verse, the oneness. Okay? Now here's this, okay? Anakin Skywalker was a legendary Force-sensitive human male. What does it mean to be Force-sensitive? Well, the Force is the spirit in this movie. And there's a dark spirit and there's a light spirit, okay, that dwells within, and you can have a sensitivity to it where the Force is strong with this one or the Force is weak with this one, okay? Well, watch this. Anakin Skywalker was a legendary Force-sensitive human male who was a Jedi Knight of the Galactic Republic and the prophesied chosen one of the Jedi Order. Must give you a good feeling when you feel like the chosen one. What am I chosen for here? Okay. And the prophesied chosen one of the Jedi Order, destined to bring balance to the Force, also known as Annie. I'm not going to get started with Annie. Before his childhood, Skywalker earned the moniker Hero with No Fear from his accomplishments in the Clone Wars. His alter ego, Darth Vader, his dark side, as I've been trying to tell you guys about all the time. His alter ego, Darth Vader, the Dark Lord, the Dark Bell, the Dark Dawn of the Sith. He's the only one called the Lord of the Sith. You need to know that. I'm going to point that out, that the Sith Lords, they took the word Lord out completely after he became Lord Vader, okay? They then made it Darth after that, and I'll bring that up, where it's truly, that's in script. It's weird. I'm going to show you guys, okay? Now, the Dark Dawn of the Sith was created when Skywalker turned to the dark side of the Force, okay? So the first Dark Lord of the Sith, the first time they used this word Lord, and the last time they used this word Lord, Dawn, the Sith, was when Skywalker turned to the dark side, the Darth side, pledging his allegiance with the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, okay? Darth Sidious is the first Dark Lord, okay? He is Satan. So there's a first and now there's a last of Darth Vader, okay? Now, the Dark Lord was created when Skywalker turned to the dark side of the Force, pledging his allegiance to the Sith Lord Darth Sidious at the end of the Republic era. A virgin in the Force, Anakin Skywalker was born on the desert planet of Tatooine. Now remember, Yeshua was born, okay, and his dad on Earth was not his real dad, okay? This is how it is, all right? So he was not born of an earthly dad. Yeshua was not. Watch this. And just as we have an outer rim, okay, the Antarctica ice wall, where outer darkness is kept, okay, even in the Star Wars saga, there's the outer rim in which Tatooine sits on the outer rim of outer darkness, okay? Can't make this up. Okay, watch. It was this, okay, the planet of Tatooine in the outer rim territories in 41 BBY. He was the son of Shmi. What is Shmi? Well, remember, it's Captain Hook and Shmi. Schmitty. John Schmidt. Okay? Shmi is the only parent he has on the earth. That's his mother, Smith, if you want to be specific. His mother is female mother Smith. Okay? His only mother is Smith. All right? Shmi. Okay? A slave who conceived a child without a father. Shmi. Shmi gave birth to Anakin Skywalker, okay, without a father of this earth, okay? Now, One sec. I got to let this reload. All right. So here we go. Move on forward. All right. His blood contained over 20,000 midichlorians, okay, surpassing all these ads popping up, passing Grandmaster Yoda, Grandmaster Mason Yoda, and all the other Jedi in the galaxy. Qui-Gon Jinn, the Jedi Master who discovered Skywalker during the invasion of Naboo in 32 BBY, theorized that Skywalker was conceived by the midichlorians following the Battle of Taboo. So what this is midichlorians is what allows you to be able to sense the Force, okay? So it's you have this overwhelming presence. Man, I hope it seems like it's lagging really bad on my end. Oh, I see why. This exit race sends out. Okay. So midichlorian is the presence of the Force in your body, the Holy Spirit in your body, if you want to be specific, or the dark spirit that's in your body when the Holy Spirit is void and not there anymore. He contained more Holy Spirit in his body, if you want to be specific in this talk here, than anyone in the whole galaxy, okay? That's what he contained. Anakin Skywalker did, okay? And he was born without a father, all right? And he was prophesied to be the chosen one, all right? Now, let's move on even further, because this is really about to get crazy. All right, so you have two choices, all right? You have the light side and the dark side. Light side and the dark side. Okay, the light side of the Force, also known as Ashla, or you can, if you're looking at Chronicles of Narnia, the Ashlands, okay, or the Ashlandians, okay, Aslan, okay, Ash right here, you have Ash and Pokemon, where you can go on and on with that, okay, as far as names with that in it. Ash is a pure substance as well. Ashes are pure, refined by fire. Wow, so much you can pull from this stuff, okay? The light side of the Force, also known as Ashla, was one of the two methods of using the Force. The light side was aligned with calmness, peace, and passiveness, and was used mainly for knowledge and defense. The Jedi were notable practitioners of the light, being selfless servants of the will of the Force, and their enemies, the Sith, also followed the dark side of the Force, okay? The Sith is the opposite of the Jedi, okay? The Jedi are the light side, okay? The Jedi represent the good, the light of the world, okay? The dark side is represented by the Sith, okay? Which I'll show you. I don't want to go through all these sides. The Jedi, you know, are represented by the light side, holding up their torches, okay? The Sith, or you can call them the Smiths, okay? The Smiths, as we've been talking about, the Pans, the Masons, the dark side in the world, the Siths, the Sith Lords, the Sith Dons, the Red Suns. See where this is going? You have the white sun, which was the symbol for the Jedi, and you have the red sun, which is the lesser light, the dark sun, okay, Satan, Ra, and his children, the Sith, the Smith Lords, the Smith Orders, okay, are the two sides in Star Wars. And then we have this, okay, Qui-Gon Jinn means this. Jinn means spirit, all right? Jinn simply means spirit, and Qui-Gon means life breathed, or you can actually say it like this, okay? Qui-Gon, where is it at here? All right, see, Qui-Gon is derived from Chinese, and it comes from this. The Arabic word for jinn means spirit, okay? Qui-Gon Qui-Gon Jinn's name is derived from the Chinese word Qui-Gon, simplified as that, and the Arabic word jinn. Qui-Gon is a system of breathing. So it's a breath, a giving of breath, okay? An exercise designed to support health, a breathing of life. Qui-Gon means a breathing of life, a breathing of life. Now, here we go. We have Jinn, which means spirit. So you have a life-giving spirit is what Qui-Gon Jinn is. And he was the first one to sacrifice himself. Ain't that crazy? Qui-Gon Jinn is the father, technically, of this light force movement. He's the one who slayed Darth Maul, who was there before, okay? Well, Qui-Gon Jinn means life-breathed spirit. All right, is what his name literally means. That is nuts. Okay, and he's voiced by James Warwick, Tom Kane, what? And Michael Richardson. There's your James, Michael, and Kane, and Liam Nielsen, which I'm sure I can find something in his name as well. That's nuts. Okay, that's a little Easter egg for you guys. But let's keep on going here. So you have Qui-Gon Jinn, who is the first one sacrificed on the light side, and his name means literally life-giving spirit. Okay, his spirit was passed on to who? If you paid attention, his spirit was passed on to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, this is where Obi-Wan, Juan meaning John. This is Obi-John Kenobi. Okay, now what does his name mean? Let's see about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi comes from the word sash, and Ken comes from the word sword, and Juan comes from the word honorific san, like saint. So you have saint, sword, Ken. Okay, well, what does that mean, Dustin? Well, here's the thing with that. Okay, he is the word. He is the sash. What is the sash? Well, here's what the sash is in the Bible. Watch this. A sash in the Bible refers to a detailed instruction, a word given by God. Isn't that crazy? So literally, Obi-Wan Kenobi means Ken, the word, which Ken, you know, there's Ken and Barbie, the original Barbies, okay, Barbie dolls. Ken is the first brought forth, okay? You have Ken, the firstborn, the first brought forth, and sash, which means the word given by God, okay? Isn't that nuts? Is what his name means, okay? And then you have Ben, which means son of, which you need to know when he was exiled, he only went by the name Ben Kenobi, which means son of the sword, okay, which his name means. So he literally went by the name son for a long time afterwards, okay? So you have Qui-Gon Jinn playing as the father of the life-giving spirit, or whatever you want to call it that, okay? And you have Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's taking his spirit, okay, and goes with it, all right? And he ends up having to be the one to slay Anakin Skywalker as well. Don't get lost in this. I'm going to bring all this together in a minute. If you haven't watched all the Star Wars stuff, it's a whole lot. I understand. Just wait, though. I want to show you there's no coincidence in these names. Okay? Okay? So there's Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then there's this, okay? You guys don't know this side of Star Wars. I'm gonna show you some nerdiness, okay? You have Mortis. All right? Mortis. All right, Mortis is the father in Star Wars. Okay, this is Qui-Gon Chi. Okay, you need to know that. That's who this represents. He's the Force wielder. Okay, who listens to the Force and brings forth the chosen one, whether it's light or dark. He's the one that chose Anakin Skywalker. The other ones tried to stand up against him, but he said no. He is the one to bring forth balance, whether it's life or destruction. Okay, Qui-Gon Jinn plays as the father. All right. The father was a powerful force wielder who resided in the realm of Mortis. His children, the daughter and the son, represented the light side and the dark side of the force. Respectively, balance was maintained between them by the father until his failing health compelled him to search for a successor of the throne. That's the whole thing behind it. So there's another thing, though. There's the son, but there's two sons, okay? There's Anakin Skywalker, who's chosen as a son, okay? But there's Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's chosen as a son too. Obi-Wan Kenobi is a good, okay? And you have a dark son also. That's why there's this, all right? Check this out. This son, okay, is the spirit of the Antichrist. This is the dark son, okay? This right here, I want to show you. I don't want you guys to get lost on this stuff. I'm going to just show you, okay? He is the dark side of this right here. The son, also known as the brother, okay? Brother. Remember, Satan and Yeshua, that's the whole thing with it. One's a bright morning star, one's a morning star. Both are called sons of God, okay? One is elevated and lifted up, all right? So, this is where this is important. Even this has a father, and he brings forth a good son and a bad son into the world, all right? Well, in that, you have this, Darth Sidious. He is the bad son. He is the original dark side, okay? He is the Satan figure, the dark side of all this. Qui-Gon Jinn is the good, okay? He is the bad. Qui-Gon Jinn gives his power over to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi passes his power on to who? The chosen one, Anakin Skywalker, who goes into perdition and becomes a destroyer, going to the dark side. Oh, yeah, from the game. I know, I was going to talk about that too. Hold on one sec. All right, so here we go. Let's go on even further. He is the original bad guy, though, Palpatine. Let's read this together. Darth Sidious, born Sheev Palpatine, and also simply known as the Emperor, was a male human dark lord of the Sith and emperor of the Galactic Empire, with his reign lasting from 19 BBY to 4 BBY, rising into power in the Galactic Senate as the Lord of Naboo. The secretive Sith Lord cultivated two identities. Sidious and Palpatine Sidious and Palpatine, using both to further his political career and deceive his way into accomplishing his goal. He orchestrated the fall of the Galactic Republic and the Jedi Order through the Clone Wars, and then established his reign over the galaxy, which lasted until his death at the Battle of Endor, like the Endor dragon in Minecraft. However, the dark side of the Force gave rise to powers which allowed him to escape death. Seeking further immortality, see where this is going? He was brought back to life until the Emperor was eventually permanently destroyed. Okay, so he suffers a head wound. He dies for a short period, which they tell you is literally 1,000 years of silence, 1,000 years of peace. Darth Sidious reigned. There was 1,000 years of silence in the galaxy, of peace in the galaxy, and then Sidious came back to life. All right, and that's why he needs an apprentice, someone to do his bidding on the earth during his short season. That's when he comes after Anakin Skywalker. Okay, but I want to show you something nuts. This is the Star Wars timeline. Okay, Palpatine, this guy, the Dark Sidious, the dark son of the chosen one. The dark one. He has been here since the beginning, since the very beginning. That's why he has this reptilian, horrible look to himself. All right, which he transforms back into after 1,000 years when Anakin Skywalker comes back on the scene again. Okay, but here's this. Check this out. This is the timeline. He's there from the beginning, but all the way through. But I want to show you something nuts. Okay, if you paid attention to these movies, you'll know why Anakin Skywalker was ultimately chosen, and it's not a good thing. Okay, he had a problem with letting things go and rage and things like that. Okay, he could not give up things. He could not let go of things. And it was his downfall. And that's what ultimately led him into giving to the dark side, is because he loved his princess. Okay, all right. And he ultimately gave birth to a son and a daughter too. Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. All right. We're twins that he gave birth to. Okay. And ultimately has to come back and fight his son at the end. Now, watch this. Okay. When Anakin Skywalker is finally made into the chosen one, okay, and he's given his power and stuff like that, the first thing Anakin Skywalker does is something horrible. The first thing Anakin Skywalker does when he gets his power, he becomes power hungry, and he wants to get rid of all the other Jedi in the world. He wants to get rid of all the light side in the world. He wants to get rid of all the light in the world, okay, when he turns to the dark side. And here's this. The first thing he does is orders and execute Order 66, in which he says this. Remember, the Antichrist is given power by the beast and the dragon, okay? This is how Apollyon becomes that one to destroy and kill and all those other things. Look, watch this. Commander Cody, the time has come. Execute Order 66. Yes, my lord. Darth Sidious to Cody. Here it goes. While Vader led, remember it's the 501c3 as the beast system? Guess what they call it? While Vader led the 501 Legion. Can't make this up. If you don't believe that the worship of the beast is the 501c3 Sunday worship of the beast, here's your proof of that too. Order 66 was put out by the 501c3. the 501st Legion attack on the Jedi temple, the church. Okay, what was? Well, you'll see. The first order was to put out the 501c3, the legions, have them ordered to arrest all the clone troopers to execute Order 66, declaring every Jedi an enemy of the Republican Party. However, the select few of Jedi he had secretively groomed, he offered their lives in exchange for his service. Order 66 activated the biochips within the clones. This is where they had to take a chip inside of their foreheads and be a clone for the Vril Society, as I talked about last night. Things are going to start getting a little bit more serious here, okay? So buckle up, okay? So you need to know this. Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one, is finally given power, and he turns to the dark side. He executes Order 66. He kills all the 501st Legion army goes out and kills all the Jedi. All the Jedi get killed under Order 66, and he starts first with the children. It was horrible. In the movie, he goes and he kills all those little kids, those children Jedi. And then he goes from the little to the big, the trainers. And then he goes from the trainers onto hunting down Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's why Obi-Wan Kenobi has to exile himself for a long period of time while Darth Vader's out killing all the Jedi in the whole world. All the light is getting snuffed out of the world. Because judgment must first start at the house of God, is what the Bible says, even in the wine press. So that double is paid back. So once Order 66 is made, all those that don't have a biochip in their forehead, okay, and are not made clones, they're programmed to kill the Jedi for treason against the state. This is why Noahide is important. Okay? Despite serving and forming deep relationships with the Jedi, the activation of the biochips by Sidious immediately and forcibly brainwashed them into believing that the Jedi were traitors to the Republic that needed to be executed, resulting in the start of the Great Jedi Purge, the Great Wine Press, the Great Spilling of the Grapes, the Great Spilling of the Blood of the Saints. All of this took place after that 1,000 years of peace. The Jedi were consequently betrayed and gunned down by the soldiers, although some managed to survive, such as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda and Caleb Dune. Sidious also used Order 66 to compel Clone Commander Rex to eliminate the former Jedi Asajj Tanu, along with his former apprentice Maul, who had been captured and brought to Coruscant by the 501c3 Legion. However, both attempts were unsuccessful, as Tanu freed Maul and then subsequently freed Rex of the mind control by removing the biochips from their foreheads. And then guess what else? After Order 66 is executed, all the Jedi are killed, then you got the Golden Age. Look at this. The rise of a new order. The rise of the Empire. The age of the Empire. Where Darth Vader makes himself God. Okay, I hope you're putting all this together. I'm not seeing anything back on this right now in the chat, and I'm hoping it's because you're listening, but the recap. Okay, the chosen one turns to the dark side because of power crave and hunger. Okay, the first thing he does is gets rid of all the Jedi in the world. All the light gets snuffed out except for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then you have this rise of the new order, this new order coming into the world right here. Okay? And then you have this battle here, this final battle of the Senate and Chamber that took place. And you have the rescue of Vader, where he suffered a head wound and comes back to life. Okay? And he hunts down Obi-Wan Kenobi and ultimately gets destroyed in the end. Okay? Do you know who Darth Bane is? Well, Darth Bane is Darth Kane. He's the only one to survive every single reset. Darth Kane, the worm that shall not die, the Antichrist of the world. Look, a millennium before the formation of the Galactic Empire. 1,000 years went by before the formation of the Galactic Empire. See this? Kane was the only one that survived as always. Okay, is Darth Kane. Okay, then we have this. This rule of two is what I was trying to tell you about. There has to be a right wing and a left wing. There has to be a Satan and a false prophet speaking for him. Okay, this is where King Charles and the Pope come in, along with our side. And God, we have the right wing and a left wing also. Okay, you have two wings. That's this whole rule of two that the Galactic Empire has, where they have to have two controlling for a distraction. Okay, it is what it is. Black Pope and the White Pope with the gray veil in between the gray Pope as well. The puppet master. All right. Then we got this, the Sith apprentice. This is what I was trying to tell you about. Darth Maul was the first apprentice of the Satan character Sidious, okay? But he died. So Darth Sidious chooses another apprentice, Darth Vader. Okay? Darth, like I said, is another word, another form of the rule of two. Darth means someone's living through you, okay? Sidious living through the next person, as I've been trying to tell you guys. Reigning with Osiris Risen, Eye of Horus, Eye of Ra, Eye of Osiris, all those things, reigning with, rule of two. Order 66, like I said, is something important to understand that they did, where they went and killed all the light was snuffed out in the world. That's why darkness and chaos is all that remains on the earth. Do you know that the main empire in which all the Jedi, the temple of the Jedi and the Jedi Order all come together in? Helios. Helios is Apollo. They called the Apollo clan. Okay. And like I said, here's the Outer Rim, proof of that. The Outer Rim territories are the ones that lay outside of the kingdom, where darkness is from. That's where they got Anakin Skywalker from, was from the Outer Rim, outer parts of the kingdom, brought back in to the light. Tatooine. Tattoo means a mark. Okay? Tattoo is a mark. Tatooine is the place of two suns. Tatooine is where the Antichrist, the chosen one of dark and light, was chose from. He was marked with a tattoo. Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Darth Vader is from Tatooine. Darth Vader is from the mark. Wow, this is really getting cool. There's The Apprentice by Donald John Trump. Okay, check it out, because he is the apprentice. He's the sorcerer's apprentice. And he's trying to make his own next apprentice. And he also has a show called The Merger. Because it's fertility also. He's trying to merge two together. Another show by Donald Trump. Well, there's all that. Take with it how you want. Take it how you want to. Okay. Let's just recap. Okay. Because I know I went through a lot really quick right then, a whole lot really quick right then. But you need to know this. Okay. Anakin Skywalker was chosen as a young little lad, as the chosen one by the Galactic Empire of Freemasonry. Okay. But you remember, no one says it better than the Freemason king himself. When they need a hero, we will appoint one for them. Okay? Well, he's appointed Donald Trump for a long time. Donald Trump has been illuminated. He's known what's going on for a very long time. That's why he stays one step ahead of the game. He has a lot of support from the high elite on his side. Okay? Well, I wanted to point this out very clearly. Okay? He was the chosen one. All right, to bring balance to the world by bringing destruction. He's also the one behind the Death Star. That's why I've been telling you about the artificial sun and the thing sitting in front of it, as I've been trying to tell you in the last couple of live streams about that. That's why this is happening right now at the same time as you have Helios Apollo over here as the king of Babylon the Great on the shores with the woman who was given two great wings. The woman was given two great wings to nourish her for a time and half a time. Even if you want to take it for 3.5 years, that's horrible, because Donald Trump says, Christians, my beautiful Christians, I love you, but in 4 more years, you won't even have to vote anymore. Maybe that's why in 3.5 years after this time of peace, maybe that's when Noahide will be inflicted. Either way, This falls exactly on the prophecy and timeline that we've been following along for a while now. Okay. Hey, Matt, while I got you up here, Matt Bingham, I did see your message earlier right before the live stream. I just haven't responded back. I am going to Northern California for your baptism. So while I have you here, just letting you know that. So, yeah. But anyway, back to this. Hope you guys got a lot out of this, okay? Because there's a whole lot. Anakin started off, he knew he was the chosen one, but he didn't know he was chosen for. But he knew he was the chosen one, and he made it himself prideful and wanted to make himself the greatest Jedi ever. He said, one day I want to be the greatest Jedi. Okay, that's what he said to Qui-Gon when he got older. Okay, and so he knew he was chosen. He didn't even have a father when he came into the world. He was born a miracle. Okay, that's why when he went up, he knew that he had to do something. Well, he went into perdition. He went into destruction, and he became Darth Vader. Okay, where he made the Death Star to destroy the world and destroy the people and to kill all the light out of the world, which ultimately brought balance because the light, a remnant was remained behind that destroyed the darkness. Okay? Cool. I really put a whole lot into this today. Okay? Yesterday, it took a full day of staring at a computer screen to kind of get this together for you guys, all for it to get shut down this morning. A lot of this stuff was supposed to be presented this morning. But I want you to understand also this, okay? How is this tied into Stargate? Stargate, I've been trying to tell you guys, if you didn't watch my last decode about Stargate, I encourage you to go back because it was a very, very important one. In Stargate, in that decode, okay, it's all about him merging demon and human together. That's the iron and clay, the mixing of artificial intelligence with human mind together. So that way, at the flip of a switch, you become a clone in the Clone Wars, in which he turns the clones against the remnant. He turns the clones against the camp of saints. Ain't that crazy to think about? It's all right there. What's up, George? Good to see you, man. And like I say, all this is important to know because it only falls in the timeline of the 1,000-year reign. When Mystery Babylon, the thing that makes it a mystery is it comes back onto the table again. Okay? I'm not saying any of this to scare you. I'm saying this because look, you need to know the Word of God itself says that you're gonna suffer, you're gonna die, you will be handed over to them, they will overcome you, they will kill you, your blood will be spilled, pick up a cross and follow me, do as I do, follow me. Peter, you're gonna be hung and die in a way in which you do not want to, but I'm telling you, want to do these things. Have faith in the resurrection from my Father. The Bible is nothing but a big warning of, hey, death is coming, repent. Okay? He will make you bold. He will make you strong. He will make you tough as you need to be. Have faith, even unto death. All right? So there's all that. I have really enjoyed this decode with you guys, and there's so much more I could have put in there, but I couldn't put my videos in there like I wanted to. So there's that. But anyway, I want to say this as well. We are finishing up here in Arizona this week. Okay, we should be moved on into. We're kind of torn between Southern California and Utah. Okay, we don't know what we're going to do. We might end up going on through Southern California now that the stuff is behind us with the planet alignment and things like that. I don't know what's going on with the world. I do know there was an earthquake today on the East Coast that's not normal over there, and there's been some other things that haven't brought up to you guys yet, but I think we're going to go on in and out of California real quick, okay? So that's this. If you're in California and you're listening and you want to give your life to Christ and you want to, make that step of repentance and get baptized in water and spirit and truth, okay? Let me know, and we can try and make it happen, all right? We should be heading over to California by this weekend. We should be in there by Southern Cal. I was supposed to jump out of a plane this weekend, but I got real sick, and I was supposed to do it today, but the guy called me and said that today and tomorrow that there had been bad weather, that it couldn't be happening. So tomorrow I'll be jumping out of a plane as the same guy that's getting baptized. It's going to be crazy. 2 things in one day like that going on. And then we'll be moving out of here, okay? So if you're in California and want to give your life to Christ, reach out. We can try and make it happen for you. And after California, we'll be moving over to like Utah, Nevada area, and then on upward, okay? And then back on across the U.S., all right? So there's that. If you want to take part in helping with this ministry at all, okay, it is so greatly appreciated, okay? It is not cheap staying in campgrounds and hotels every single day of our life and living on the road out of fast foods and slow foods, okay? If you want to take part in helping and you're able to do those things and try and helping out, that way to do that is down below. Don't feel pressured though. Don't think that I'm doing this for that reason. I'm doing this for others, okay? We're blessed to be a blessing. As I'm blessed, I'm paid for to go and bless others and also to be able to lead them to salvation and baptism as well, okay? There was a Paul, but there was also a Barnabas, okay? So there's that. If you want to take part in that, that's down below. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys. I do have a bunch more stuff I want to share with you, so it's no telling when I'll go live again. It may be tomorrow morning. Wow, Amy, you can even see my gray hairs popping out on the camera now. I've been stressed out so much lately because I've been checking. I cut my hair off a while back. I've noticed I have so many white hairs popping out of my hair. So I don't know if it's from stress out or what's going on, but maybe it's wisdom. But anyway, good to see Ryan. Ryan, you've been up here a long time. I don't know why I'm saying just now you're becoming a member, unless that means something I don't know about. But welcome. Always good to see people up here and listening. Miss Kim, I was wondering if you were up here. I haven't seen you pop up too much in the chat box. It's good to see you. All you people. Hey, Miss Kim. Awesome. Tell Mr. Tracy I say hello. I love you guys. Chad, hello. Just kind of seeing who we got here. See if there were some problems or questions throughout this, because I try my best not to look at the chat box much anymore. Okay. I don't think I see any big questions popping up here. An hour 31. I will say this, all right. It's time for a flashback video, okay? I want to say that, okay? It's time for a flashback video, which I brought up last week. How about this? I'll use not 5 minutes. I'll use 2 minutes here to try and get a vote on you guys of something you guys want me to rehash. Maybe an old video or maybe an old topic, okay? You guys have about 1 minute. Let me look at this clock. I've put things down there in the chat box, and I will pick through those of a rehash video, a flashback video we can do tomorrow. And I'll be glad to do prayer as it out here in this melody. But yeah, what else? Let's see. I want to see what some of you guys say. Is something you want me to rehash or a video you want me to go back and retouch on a flashback video? And as you're exiting, if you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe button, and a notification bell so we can get a little jump in this and get some more people in here. Hope that you got something out of it. Oh yeah, original location in Scripture. Enoch summary. Oh man. Okay, that's 2 things. While they're putting these things on here, Matt, are you talking about Are you talking about locations like where things are located, like where I believe things are in today's world compared to where they are on the maps and stuff like that? You could kind of tell me a little bit more about what you mean by that question. Welcome, Peppermint Plays. I see that you're new. There's all kinds of videos for you to watch and check out. And then you can ask some questions from there if you would like to. I do like the Enoch idea. It's just, I don't know if I love that topic. Love it. I think it's so important and so timely. Okay? I would love to touch on mythology. Okay? It's on one of my lists. I have a bunch of videos I can throw together on that stuff I've touched. The only thing about my Enoch studies that I've already done is I've already learned and changed a few things since my early stages of my ministry that I used to believe, like when I was just learning, to where I am now. I would like to eventually do another Enoch study, but it's just so much, and we're at the time we are now that I don't even believe that Enoch is as relevant as like Revelation and things that we are right now. But I do love that mythology stuff. That is so important, very, very important. Because like I said, that's the whole purging, the whole coming on the clouds of fire, the whole scorched kingdoms, the 2/3 of the earth purged. That happened, the petrified kingdoms, the petrified forest. That'll be a great one. Okay, so I think I'm going to do that. Welcome, Liberty Grace Sergeant. It's good to have you here as a new member. Awesome. So that's been my minute. Okay, so I think I'm going to vote down on this. I do like the original location, and I like methodology. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw together the original location and methodology because they go together so hand in hand. Okay, that's going to be perfect. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, we're going to do that. So tomorrow morning, I should have together an awesome, one of my favorite topic videos, okay, which points to the Millennial Kingdom, methodology, and true locations of the Bible, which I got new stuff I want to add to that as well. So I'm pretty excited y'all picked this one, okay? So tomorrow morning, between maybe, looking at Amy, let's see, between 10 and 11. I don't ever know because Mia keeps us up so late. It's hard to get up and going sometimes. But, you guys got to realize we go back in time all the time as our time schedules change. The hours change with us crossing time zones and stuff like that. And we got a baby trying to adjust to everything in the background, along with checkout times and check-in times. It's hard, okay? But tomorrow between 10 and 11, I'm a big one. I can't wait for this. This is one of my favorite topics. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Y'all are going to love it. The Terminator. Yeah, I could get into the Terminator. Man, it's going to be awesome. Okay. Oh, I missed a bit in the beginning. Yes, Vanessa, make sure you go back because there's a whole lot we covered here. My son really wants us to get into some video decoding with you guys. He started a little bit of stuff on his channel, but I think we're going to put some of the stuff over here on mine too, and just to kind of get him going. We'll see. That's something else I want to do with you guys. But other than that, I don't want to get up here rambling on too much. I got to get together this other video for you guys and give some time to my family a little bit today as well. Okay. So if you enjoyed this video, share it, get it out there, hit one of the buttons below. If you jumped in on the end of the video, you missed a whole lot from the beginning of the video. And if you enjoyed this video also, go watch the part 1 of this that was stripped off by YouTube earlier today. All right? Sweet. So there's that. So I'm going to get off of here. I enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Good night and or day, wherever you are in the world, from beyond the veil and family.